My name is Savita Settler, distinguished Toastmaster. I've been a Toastmaster for 13 years. I've played the role of VP of membership a couple of times, but the one role that I have played over and over again is that of a president. So the president has the least amount of work to do, as I always say, because the rest of the team carries the load. So as a VPM, I just want to ask one question of all of you. What is the most important role in Toastmasters? Anybody? What's the most important role? Who is the most important?
I'm guessing you're thinking this one is.
I'm sorry?
This one?
This one meaning?
The VP of membership.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking of officer role.
No,
Who is
the most important role are the toasters.
Are the members.
The members.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. And the VP of membership caters to the members. So I want you all to know that you hold a very important role in your executive committee in your respective clubs. So thank you for taking on this responsibility. By the standards of Toastmasters, we are supposed to go through a canned presentation. I will try to incorporate that. However, I want this to be a more open forum. So as we go through this, feel free to raise your hand and ask questions. I'm going to use that presentation just as a guide for us to go through the various salient points of what this role entails. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and bring that presentation, and then we can open it up as we go through. Okay. This is just about me, who you're seeing here live. I have been a member in multiple chapters, and I don't know if you are aware, there are corporate chapters and community chapters. So I am part of the Wells Fargo corporate chapter, and I've served in various roles, as I said before. So our agenda here is to know what the VPM role is, what the responsibilities are, and the different resources that are available to you to perform your role. So the objectives are to first identify your role, fulfill all those responsibilities, know what to do that, and find all the resources. So let me go into the next. Now, when you see this slide, there are 3 areas where every officer will have a role. At the club meeting, outside the club meeting, and at the executive committee meeting. So for newcomers, you may wonder, what is the executive committee? It is nothing but a group of all the officers of the chapter, starting with the president and ending with the sergeant at arms. If you're not aware, there are 7 officer roles, and the VP of membership is one of those. So you are a member of the executive committee of your chapter. Now, let's go ahead and see what you have to do before a club meeting, upon arrival, and during the meeting. Before the club meeting, the first thing you will need to know is who are your members. Get a list of all those members. And if possible, get all the information about them, including their phone number and email. Nowadays, I think email is the #1 way to communicate, and only with their consent you can text them and call them. The next thing is guest packets. Now here, I would like to take a pause and ask some experienced VP of memberships. Is there anyone who has been a VP of membership before? Anybody? There you go. Joe Amaro. Can you tell us, do you have guest packets for your new members?
Yes, we do. Actually, Savita, even emails are frowned upon nowadays by the millennials and Gen Zers. They prefer text. They don't even like phone calls. And emails, the boomers are the ones that like emails, but even that, we're bombarded with emails every day with all the junk mail. But what I do is I send out a lot of text before a meeting, and I like to customize it to the person, because I would have spoken to them beforehand. So if we've got a speaker or something that customizes it to them. If I know that they're job hunting, for instance, I'll say they're going to be talking, we have a speaker that's going to be talking about your job hunting techniques this week. And so you might be interested, and then I'll send them a link to our meeting, along our Zoom meeting, along with that. And then I send out the text. Or I'll say it's going to be a good networking opportunity, and I'll send that out. So I typically send out between 10, 15 texts before each meeting. And then we always get between 2 and 3 hits from our website, and TI sends us inquiries of people that are looking for information on Toastmasters. And that's where we send out an electronic email package of packets. We don't send physical packets anymore because since COVID, we've been meeting online.
Yeah. Can I stop you there? We just heard from Ray Engen about using jargon and acronyms, right? TI is Toastmasters International, for those of you who are new. And thank you very much, Joe Amaro. Guest packets, that is why I opened up the conversation. Guest packets could mean different things to different people. In fact, at the end of this, I have a template to share with our chapter has come up with an Excel spreadsheet. There is a checklist for the member to do, and then there is a checklist for the VP of membership to do. So it could be n number of things that you can call a guest packet. Yes, in the old days, when we had in-person meetings, there used to be a binder where we would hand it to the members that walked in. Of course, things have changed, and post-COVID, everything is electronic. Thanks for pointing it out that text would work, but I'm just saying that it depends. It depends on the composition of your chapter. Sometimes it could be a combination. Then you've got to be a little creative and try to use all modes of communication. So just make sure that you have something to hand out to your members rather than leaving them in the lurch. Okay, I'll move on. Contact former guests and members who have not attended meetings. Now, this is very important. We get many meetings where we have guests, right? They come and they go, and then they don't hear back from the chapter at all, the club. I use the word chapter a lot because in our corporate environments, we frown upon using the word club. So when I say chapter, please know that it is synonymous with club. So please know that. So contacting the former members and members who have not been attending meetings. Now, what that means is the VP of membership needs to understand you are catering not only to the guests and converting them to members, but you are also catering to existing members who are just sitting there. They don't know, they became a member because you used good skills to bring them in, but beyond that, they don't know what to do. So you got to make sure that your role encompasses catering to new to guests and converting them to members, as well as taking care of the current members. That's what this bullet point means to me. I would just look for any other comments on the screen before I move on. Anybody else wants to say something about guest package or your role as VPM in terms of current members?
Actually, so Savitha, in terms of not knowing what the next step is, I don't understand how that would happen, because as part of the sign-up process, they would have gone through the new member orientation, which takes them through the whole process of signing up, getting onto pathways, picking a path, getting them started on their icebreaker, having a mentor assigned to them, introducing them to their new mentor, and so they're well on their way.
Yeah, Joe, you are getting us way ahead of ourselves.
Okay,
I'm going to
you
get to
did
all
say
that.
that they were confused. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah, what you're talking about is the ideal scenario, but there can be a lot of clubs where they do not even have that packet to begin with. That was the point. Having the packet is the first thing. All that you mentioned are great points, and every VP of membership needs to ensure that their club has that packet for the members. So it's not only important to bring in new members, but you've got to have that packet ready with all those things. And that's exactly what's in the checklist that I will be sharing at the end of this presentation. So thank you, Joe. Okay, let's move on. So now this was before or outside of the club meeting. Now at the club meeting, you're going to make sure that you greet all the guests and members. This need not be just in person. When you see people on Zoom and or any other electronic media that you use for a virtual meeting, you got to greet the guests and make them feel welcome. And Ray again touched on a very good point about not using some of the jargons that we members already know about. Make sure that they are clear about what we are talking about and include them, and provide the guests with guest packets. Again, we are coming back to the guest packets. So I found this very nice link. I don't know if you've seen this. This is the Why Toastmasters. I don't know if I can quickly share that, but I'm not going to try that now with all the sharing. I'm going to share this presentation. You can click on the link and see. It is a very nice presentation where all the basic tenets of Toastmasters is already there. So feel free to use this link and provide them the link if they are in a virtual setting and answer the questions. Please reserve time at the end of every meeting, especially if you have guests, to ask them what they felt about the meeting and what questions they may have. So if you're the Toastmaster, keep that in mind. And if you're not the Toastmaster, raise your hand and say, we would like to hear from the guests. So that's very, very important to catch them when they come in and make sure that you're not leaving them in the lurch. Any thoughts from anyone on this? Feel free. I cannot necessarily see all the raised hands. So Mercy or Renee, I would like to seek your help if anybody is.
I don't see any raised hands, but Ray Engen gave us a good suggestion for asking guests why Toastmasters and why now.
Exactly. Thank you very much for highlighting that, Renee. So let me know if I'm going too fast and I'm not able to see the chat. So Mercy and Renee, please help me and feel free to stop me, okay? Okay.
Yep.
Now what do you do after the club meetings? Meet with the guests, virtually, phone call, whatever way you use, right? Meet with those guests. And I always believe that you strike the rod when it is hot. Do not let it sit. If there are guests that came in, make contact with them, at least before the next meeting. Ask them, would they like to know about the next steps? What did they find in the meeting? Did they have any questions? So meet with the guests. Invite the guests to join again. You know, I always believe that if you have a meeting series on calendar, just forward them the series. At best, they will just ignore it. But if they want to, they have the information right there and they will come to your next meeting. Make sure the members know when you meet. That is why I always recommend have weekly meetings, whether you can attend or not. Because when you make bi-weekly or once in a month, it is very confusing to remember, oh, when do they meet now? Oh, is it not every week? But that's why I try to keep it simple. Just meet every week, same day of the week, same time. It's easy for guests to remember. And help guests complete the membership application form. Now, although we have progressed so far in technology in Toastmasters, We still have the same membership application form. We still need physical signatures. It could be digital now, but we still need the membership form. So my recommendation is every officer in the club should know about the membership application form and should be able to answer questions. But the prime responsibility is on the VP of membership. Know the application form. How many of you are VP of memberships but do not know how to answer questions on the form? That would be the first thing to learn. Understand what parts of the form are really essential for them to fill. You can fill in the club name, the club number, all that information, pre-fill it. Don't let them wonder, I don't know your club number. All we need from the member is their address, their phone, their email. Even phone is not necessary these days. Their email, because Toastmasters sends them the welcome email, and their signature. So you can fill out all the others, walk them through the fees if you have any extra fee that you charge for your club. So know your application form. That's the most important thing. And have them complete the form. Have that form ready. There may be a member that is so impressed on the first meeting and say, I'm ready to join. Are you ready to give them that application form? Yes. Is that Gemma Reeser?
It is Gemma.
It's
There are a couple of things that I have done in the past as VP for membership. Well, one thing that I've done is when I'm working with the potential member and their application is to really look at if you're kind of getting towards the end of that 6-month membership period, to encourage them to actually sign up for the next 6-month period so that they don't have to renew and we don't have to go through this process a month or 2 months later. And then the other thing is that our club, after club meetings, if we have guests, a number of us will stick around right after the club and offer that to our guests, so that if they just want to chat right away or they have questions, it's really an excellent opportunity to get feedback from a number of the officers.
Thank you very much, Gemma. These are all very valuable tips. Yes, ideally the treasurer and the VP of membership, any officer can make sure that as we are approaching the dues, you are alerting everyone, dues are due. So let it flow. There's also an option to sign up for the whole year, so you don't have to bother every 6 months. I know it doesn't help that Toastmasters has increased the fee now from 45 to 60, but then consider other public speaking, training. It is still one of the cheapest options, right? So you got to sell with the right attitude and make sure that the members really want to renew. I think that depends on how you keep the quality, right? I know, Joe, you have your hand raised, but can we just go on to the next slides, and would you be able to hold, or unless it's a very quick thing you want to say?
Well, just that our Free Toast Host website does have an option to send out invoices automatically to all the members and to all of the prospects and guests. It's built in.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Joe, for bringing in all these nuggets. And, I just want to ease it in for the new members, because Free Toast Host is something we'll talk about. That is one of the resources that is available to us. It's like a website where you can pretty much have all information about your club. Members can sign up there, and they can even create agendas. So that's a whole session we can have on training on Free Toast Host. But Joe, could you do me a favor and put some information about Free Toast Host for our members here, trainees, so that they can go back and look at what Free Toast Host is. Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Renee and Mercy, are there any other hands raised or anything in the chat?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
There is a question about free Toast Host, but when Joe puts the link in there, there will be answers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to make sure that we give an opportunity to the newcomers to ask questions, because if we have lost them on anything we said so far, then the rest of the training is lost on them too. So I would like to call out the first-time officers to see if you have any questions. I'd like to make this interactive.
Sorry, there is another question by somebody whose number is on there, 17075, is asking, are there pre-packets that we can utilize? And I think, Savitha, you said you were going to send out a
Yes.
packet sample at the end. So
Yes.
that answers it, right?
Correct. Correct. I
Okay.
will definitely send out. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Conduct membership building programs. Now for this, I would like to solicit help from some experienced VP of memberships. There could be many membership building programs. Now this is extra effort. You know, in Toastmasters, you get what you put in. And the spectrum can go from just attending meetings to all the way to creating these programs. So is there anyone who has created a membership building program in your clubs? And what would that look like? Anybody? I personally have not done anything like that for membership building. We do.
Cynthia has some input.
Yes, go ahead.
It's not specific programs, but in my club, and I've been in many different clubs over the last 10 years, for smaller clubs that are struggling, our vice president or our membership is more like a committee, and our committee goes through different things together, such as open houses or campaigns or networking or inviting family. So we'll run different campaigns together to do it instead of one individual person. Vice president membership still leads and reaches out to the debate, especially if you're a smaller club.
I think you bring up a very good point about building committees, because this role encompasses different big tasks. As I said, you know, take care of current members, take care of guests and convert them to members, and make sure members are happy, right? These are the main tenets. Now, to make sure members are happy, make sure they have a mentor. So the mentorship program could be a subcommittee of a VP of membership, you know, just form committees. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Forming subcommittees is always going to help you. You cannot do anything in Toastmasters alone. You need a village. So while the VP of membership can be at the helm of things, have people do specific tasks. You can say, hey, can you be part of my committee and you take care of all the guests that come? Make sure that the guests' questions are answered, and our goal is to turn them to members. And someone else in the committee can take care of existing members. Why are the members not coming? You know, they signed up, but we have not seen them in so many meetings. Are they okay? Or did they not like something about our club? You know, so taking care of existing members, as I said before, is also a very essential part of a VP of membership. So forming committees to do specific tasks within the gamut of the VP of membership role is going to really help your club be successful. Okay, promote membership building contests. Now, this is something I have not done and I have not seen either. You know, anyone about a contest, membership building contests? You know, what I can think of is just see how many, who is the member that brought the most number of guests, you know, have something for them. I mean, especially if you're collecting extra funds other than what you pay TI, Toastmasters International, other than what you pay Toastmasters International, if you're collecting some club dues, use that to give incentives to members for bringing in guests. So that could be a contest. Who brought the most guests or something like that? Just make it fun for everyone. Any other thoughts? Okay, I'm going to move on. It's a very quiet audience here. Okay, bring membership applications. We already touched on it. Have that membership application ready. Because when you lost somebody, you lost them for good. Strike it, and they have come to the meeting. They liked your meeting. They want to know what's next. You have to be ready. Give them the membership application form, get their signature, and then you can take care of the rest, right? Catch them when they are there. Assist the Vice President Public Relations. I've always felt that the VP of Membership and the VP of PR have to work close together. Do the open houses, and the open house, if you have some new guests, grab them on and do your VP membership role. So yes, very, very important to work with the VP of PR. And ensure meeting information is correct. Yes, when do you meet? What time do you meet? If you as a VP of membership are not sure about the schedule of your own meeting, then that doesn't, that cuts a very sorry figure. So know your meeting information. The last point is, we talked about the executive committee meetings. Typically, it's done once a month. It can be done more often or maybe once in 2 months, but attend those meetings because that is where the officers strategize. I always feel that when all the 7 officers do their role well, it's automatically a standard quality club. I hope you all agree with me. So attend those executive meetings and give it the same importance as your regular meetings, because that is where you do your club success plan. You make sure you know who is going to do which level in pathways, so you get all your points. So I'm sorry for the newcomers. I'm talking of points which we never discussed here. Every Toastmasters club is rated on a 10-point scale. So that is our key objectives on which we are grading. Those are the metrics by which a club success is measured. So when you have 4 members, you get 1 point. When you bring 4 more members, you get another point. So as VP of membership, you can contribute to 2 of the 10 points that a club can get. That's called a distinguished club program. So attend these executive meetings where you can contribute to making your club either distinguished, select distinguished, or president's distinguished. Now, since I mentioned that, I will go on to say that if you get 5 out of the 10 points, you are a distinguished club. If you get 7 points, you're a select distinguished club. And if you get 9 out of the 10 points, you're a president's distinguished club. So by attending these executive meetings, you are contributing to have a quality club that can be in the distinguished category. Any questions?
I see no questions.
Are there 2 points for 6 months?
I'm sorry?
When you said for 4 new members, you get 1 point. Is that for 6 months?
No, that is for a very good question. That's for the whole year.
Okay, in this case, 8 new members per
8
year.
new members.
Okay, perfect. Thank
exactly. You. But when you bring 4 new members, you get 1 point. And 4 more, you get another point. So let us say you only bring 4, at least you get 1 point.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you only become distinguished once a year?
Yes, that is correct. It's rated at the end of the year. And our Toastmasters year runs from July to June.
Okay, so if you miss the date, you're not distinguished, but you bring in a lot of new members. I'm sorry, did I say it right? If I bring in a lot of new members, but I miss the date to be distinguished, the club can't be distinguished.
Right. This is just a contribution to the different points, right? So let us say you missed the boat and you brought a member after June 30th. That credit goes to the next year. So you have July to June to bring in the members. Even if you bring a member on June 30th, you're supposed to get the credit for that year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But I wouldn't wait. Yeah.
Where you save the member for next year, if you don't, it doesn't make sense for you to add it for like 7th member.
Yes, that's a tactic you can use. Even with education points, right? If you've got all the education points, somebody has finished, just wait a few more days and get that credit for the next year. Yeah, Yes, Mercy?
15 minutes to go.
Yes, thank you very much, Mercy. And I hope we can get the link put again for attendance. It's very, very important. Please fill the attendance form. And there's also a feedback link, Mercy. If you can put that in the chat, I would love to get feedback. We just have a few more slides to go through, and then I can open it up for more questions. Attend and vote at area council meetings. Now, the president, the VPE, and the secretary usually vote. So this may not be for the VP of membership, but correct me if I'm wrong. You can vote in your own clubs for your different officers when you have elections. But the president and the VP carry your club's votes at the district and above. The second point here is very, very important. Always look for your backup. We talked about committees, right? When you form these committees, you're already identifying the members that can step up to your role for the next year. Always build those backups. So at the end of the year, you can say, this is the person I would nominate to be VP of membership next year. So always be on the lookout for that and prepare them. Prepare them. When you have them as backup, they will perform when you are not available. So they're already playing the role. So they could be your successor for the next year. Okay. We talked about membership contests and then report on club membership. At the end of the year, please keep the president informed about your membership strength. You can say sometimes you may get all the points, but if you don't have 20 members or a base from where you started, 5 more than your base, you will not be distinguished. So it's very important to maintain the number of required members. So the VP of membership always has an eye on that and report it at every executive meeting to your president. So your president can jump in and give you tips on how to build your membership numbers. 1 is keeping the numbers and 2 is keeping quality, making sure those members are happy. To me, that's one of the most important jobs of VP of membership, to keep the existing membership happy and see that they're getting what they joined for. Why did they join Toastmasters? Are they getting all that? Right? So make an action plan of how you will fulfill each of these responsibilities and put a timeline on each of that. When you have goals, if they don't have a timeline, they are not going to be effective. You've all heard of SMART goals, right? It has to be attached with a timeline. And get your resources. Build that team of resources around you that can help you. And what are the materials and resources you would need, like checklists and templates, free toast host, what have you. Just make a list of all those resources at the beginning of the year, if possible. We talked about the checklist, which I will be sharing. And what you're doing today is contributing to another DCP point. Training gives you DCP point, and congratulations, you are getting that point for your club today. And try to read all the materials that's available out there. Always look to your previous VP of memberships and gain knowledge from them. and be actively involved in your executive committee. We talked about forming committees. Moments of truth. I would like to spend 1 minute on this very important activity called Moments of Truth. Moments of Truth is like a workshop. You know, you can dedicate a whole meeting to this workshop. You divide up the members that attend into 6 different groups and try and brainstorm on the areas. You know, there are 6 areas on which you can grade a club's quality. Are guests treated well? Do we do our programs from the curriculum? So, you know, there are a bunch of guided points that you discuss as a group and check whether you're doing it well and what are the areas of improvement. That is why it's called Moments of Truth. Then take that feedback from each member and try to implement it. Discuss it in the executive committee meetings and come up with a game plan. So if you have not conducted Moments of Truth in your club, please look into it. It's a very valuable exercise. We talked about welcome kits and guest packets and order any requirement material. I don't know whether the last bullet is really valid with the current scenarios, but you can build your own set of materials and checklists that you can use. Okay, this brings us to the end of what I had planned to discuss. I would now like to open it up for any questions or any experiences or nuggets of wisdom that anybody would like to share that we might not have covered here.
I have one thought I'd like to share about the distinguished club program that we talked about, the points that Savitha was talking about. There's a lot of emphasis on earning points, getting enough members. And I want to point out, no pun intended, it's not about the points. The reason we have the distinguished club program is because it's a way to make sure your club is healthy. So there's 6 points that go towards education. Well, why did we join Toastmasters? Because we wanted to be better. We want to have that education. So the club should be focusing on educating our members, not necessarily getting the points, but, you know, use that as a guide. There's 2 points that are for membership, and that's something that we're responsible for. Well, if we don't get new members, then the club dies. There's a typical attrition rate of losing about, 40% of your membership, 20%? It works out mathematically that somebody who's good at math can say, of 20 members, which we want for a minimum number of members, 8 of them will leave. They got a different job, they moved away, they had a baby, whatever it is. So membership's an important part of the distinguished club program. Then there's officer training and doing administration as well. You know, getting your officer list submitted and the dues paid. That's the administration aspect. Well, if we don't pay our dues, we're not Toastmasters. So I just want to emphasize that there's a reason for each of those points, and we should be focusing on the reason more than focusing on the points. And if you do everything right, you have a fun meeting, then you'll be a distinguished club.
Thank you very much, Renee. And that's a very good call out. When you do all the things right, you automatically get the points. So rather than focusing on the point, get the quality. Yes, Cynthia.
May I ask a question, Renee, please?
Yes, Marius.
When you said we are losing 40% of the members, is that every year? Pretty much we are losing 8 members out of 20 every 12 months.
Yep, that's normal. So if you lose 8 members, don't think that there's something wrong with your club. It's internationally, that's the statistic.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
but you might be doing better. You might be retaining more than you might not be losing 8 members, but it is a statistic that's generally true.
Okay, thank you. I got your point.
Cynthia? Yeah. Cynthia?
I wanted to add what Renee is saying, and also maybe you'll speak on this too later, Savita, but like Renee was saying, that the points of distinguished clubs are really just the tracker to help us make sure we're healthy. I'm stepping down as president. I've been a Toastmaster for a while. I've been in every role. So this is another opportunity for me to be VPM this next coming year. And as I take on this role, this is what I tell my future other Toastmasters and guests that want to be Toastmasters. You have to be selfish. I find that's the most helpful. Being a VPM is being in my.
You're cutting
Self.
out, Cynthia.
So we have pathways. We have all these leadership opportunities. And in District 57, we have the outstanding Toastmaster program. So I just encourage you guys all, and also to encourage fellow members, to be selfish and think about how we can also get points and find opportunities for pathway speeches as we are VPM for this next 6 months or for 1 year. How many membership type speeches and trainings can you provide so that you also gain something? Because that is also encouraging as well, besides just giving to our club and district and to the world of Toastmasters.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Those words of wisdom from experienced Toastmasters really add to the quality of this training. Anybody else? We've got 3 minutes left. I would like to remind all of you, if you've not done so, fill out the attendance form. And did we have the feedback form pasted there too, Mercy?
If
I
we've
have a
signed up
question.
once, we don't have to do that twice. I'm sorry, this is Michelle, because you keep saying, and it's, so once we've done our sign in, we don't have to do it again, right? Because you said.
That is, yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
You've done it once, that's all. We're just
I have a
giving it.
question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please finish.
No worries.
Okay, I have a question. When I try to send the agenda to the prospects or new members that are not really in the register as a member, I cannot find a way to send the agenda directly from the site. Is there a way to send the agenda directly to the prospects that are not registered in?
Are you using Free Toast Host?
Yes.
Yes, there is. You can, if you have the permissions, and if you don't, then you should talk to whoever's administering your Free Toast Host. But you can send the agenda to any of the lists. There's a list of prospects, there's a list for guests, and you need to populate the guest list. I think the prospect list is automatically populated from people inquiring. But the other thing I've seen our former VP membership is he just copies it. He goes and views the agenda and he copies it and he pastes it into an email to the people who are actively inquiring about our club. Does that make sense?
Yep, I'm doing that, but that it's like a manual. I forward the agenda to me, and after that I copy the agenda and change the to list or BCC list and change the signature. It's a like 4 steps process instead of selecting a list and sending the agenda.
Do you have access to the membership module in Free Toast Host?
I have to check that. I'm pretty new here, sorry.
Yeah.
But when I look there on the drop-down list, I do not see any group with attendees or non-member. I see only the members, roles, officers, but I do not see a group with.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Marius. Probably you can take Renee's information and get all the information. I'm really sorry to interrupt. We're going to be kicked out of this session. I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of you and pardon me for all the hiccups we had at the beginning. I hope you enjoyed this training and I hope to be hearing from you. If you need checklists, please email me. I've put it in the chat. and I'll be more than happy to send the checklist to you.
Can you
Have
put
a-
an email in the chat?
I did, settler.tm@gmail.com.
Have him contact me.
What?
Thank you, Renee, for your help.
Thanks everyone, and Renee and Mercy, thank you so much for stepping up.
Thank you all.
I will stop the recording now.
Thank you.